But, of course, another big story in the news today. This is something that I tell you, I first started in statewide talk radio over a decade ago, and this is something we've been covering for several years. I've had a chance over the years to talk with leaders in the Little Shell Tribe, members in the Little Shell Tribe, a lot of our friends I know in Great Falls that are members of the Little Shell Tribe, but really it's not just a Montana tribe. The members scattered across the northern plains of the U.S. and Canada, and now U.S. lawmakers have granted formal recognition to the Little Shell Tribe of Chippewa Indians after a decades-long struggle. Remarkable news. The provision to recognize the tribe included by Senator Steve Daines in a defense bill approved by the Senate yesterday on an 86-8 vote. The measure now goes to President Donald Trump to be signed into law, which everybody expects that to be the case. Very honored to be joined now on the show by Little Shell Tribal Chairman Gerald Gray. Chairman Gray, thanks so much for being with us this morning. An honor to have you.
Oh, no, thank you for having me.
Well, what was your reaction when you heard this vote result yesterday?
I was almost speechless. It's been a long time coming, and it was an unbelievable day that it's actually finally crossed the finish line.
Yeah, because it's already passed the House. Congressman Gianforte had a bill in the House, and I know Congressman Ryan Zinke before him worked to get it done, and that was under the Obama administration tenure. But now, hey, better late than never. It's headed to the president's desk. You expect him to sign it? I think we all do expect the president to sign this, right?
Yeah, definitely, because this is a national defense authorization bill, and it basically funds the military. If he doesn't sign it, we won't have a military.
Yeah, it puts a whole lot of things into whack.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Chairman Gray, how would you describe the Little Shell Tribe in this just decades-long struggle to gain federal recognition?
We're a very diverse group because we don't have a reservation. Like you said earlier, we're scattered throughout Montana. A lot of us are businessmen, businesswomen. We've been self-sufficient and have learned to survive all these decades while we've continued this fight for federal recognition. That dates back into the mid-1800s when Chief Little Shell, the federal government wanted to buy 10 million acres and for 10 cents an acre, and he said, no, it's worth more than that. So he walked out of the negotiations, and we've been penalized ever since until yesterday.
I think about 5,000 members across both countries here. How many would you anticipate are in Montana?
Well, I'd say probably at least 75 to 80%.
Yeah, and I know a lot of friends in the Great Falls area. How significant is this to finally gain this federal recognition?
It's really significant because it's more about dignity for us that we've finally crossed that line to where we're a federally recognized tribe. If like all of our brothers and sister tribes in Montana. So it's very significant because we've been at this for almost over 150 years.
Yeah. What's it been like just over the last decade or so? Because it's had strong bipartisan support from both Senator John Tester has supported this, and Senator Steve Daines. Of course, Republicans have control of the Senate, so it was really kind of his effort with Mitch McConnell to get that across the finish line yesterday. But it's enjoyed strong bipartisan support over several years now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been kind of odd because, there's all the support. It's kind of been a no-brainer, and then yet we've had to try to find different avenues to get this done. The regular process that a lot of tribes try to go through is called the Office of Federal Acknowledgement. That system has been broken for decades. Also, we have over hundreds of thousands of documents that we presented to them to go through that process, but it's such a government red tape that it just wasn't gonna. It would take more years. Who knows how many more. So we thought we have a really good lobbyist firm back in D.C. called Claus Law, and they said, let's go the congressional route. It's going to be faster.
Yeah.
And it turned out just to be that.
Have you gotten any calls from the White House yet yourself or anything on that front?
We just the the governors called, had a joint press conference yesterday with both senators, which is really nice. It's a lot of media calls.
I'll bet, yeah. What does this mean in terms of, because I know with various tribes here in Montana, the federal government has treaty obligations that are owed, of course, to the members of those tribes. What does this mean from an obligation standpoint from the federal government?
So, there's a lot of misconception out there with regards to that from people, but what it really means is access to health care, Indian Health Service, some money for housing. And, that kind of housing money is more things like, winterizing elders' homes or veterans, things like that. Also some money access for education for students to go to college. And it's not free money, it's not a handout. We've really got to start getting over that kind of those thoughts, because it's not like that.
Well, when you think about those millions of acres too, that so many years ago, not having that land and things like that. Can you join us for a few more minutes? We're talking with Chief Gerald Gray from the Little Shell Tribe of here in Montana, and of course across both the U.S. and Canada. Can you join us for a few minutes? We got to take a quick break here.
Sure.
Okay, more with Chairman Gray right after this, right here on Montana Talks. And then in the few minutes we have left, I'll give you a couple quick updates on some of the other big news stories of the day as well. So back right after this. We're talking about this big story, the big news from yesterday, U.S. lawmakers granting formal federal recognition to the Little Shell Tribe of Chippewa Indians after a decades-long struggle by members both across the northern plains of the United States and Canada, but most right here in Montana. And we're talking with the chairman of the Little Shell Tribe, Gerald Gray, here on Montana Talks. This was an interesting piece. Tom Ludy with the Billings Gazette and the Lee newspapers had an interesting line in his story about this here. Senator John Tester, of course a Democrat, thanked the Republican Senate leader Mitch McConnell for making Little Shell recognition a priority. Proposed amendments to the National Defense Reauthorization Act are many, and only a few make the cut. It's McConnell who most influences what amendments are considered. And so Senator Steve Daines added this. This happened because Leader McConnell made it a priority and was able to put it on a bill that was a must-pass piece of legislation. And through his work, through his side, through Senator Daines, and through our work on my side, we were able to get it done, Tester said. There were no deals cut here. It's pretty straight up. We didn't give anything up for this. We didn't say you can have this and I'll vote this way. None of that garbage happened. This is just straight up recognition of the Little Shell Tribe. Chairman Gray, to me, this is a good news story in the sense that, too often anymore, everything is so partisan. It's like one of our callers said yesterday. It's like a football game, and people put on their jersey and they pick their side and they're not going to budge. But there's all these issues out there that we as Montanans can come together on. This is one of them. It's now happening. So I think this is one of the good news stories out there.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. I think having both the senators and then also the Congressman Gianforte going to battle for this and not having to give up anything, like a vote on any particular other piece of legislation was huge, because last year the Virginia tribes went through the same process, but their delegation had to give up their vote on health care. So, and these guys didn't give up anything, which was really nice.
Yeah, very interesting. How does this change in any way the work and the cooperation with other tribal nations here in Montana or with the state government? Because as I understand it, the state basically already provided that recognition. It was just the feds that really hadn't done so yet. So what does it change from in a state of Montana standpoint and cooperation and discussions with other tribal nations here in the state?
I think nothing with the tribal nations, because right now they view us just as like any other tribe. So we're always welcome to the table. Any table that they're already at, we're there too. As for the state, what that does is just opens up more opportunities for us to apply for different kind of grants and funding as such.
I just got your email too. So you're actually in the same building as us right now.
Yeah, I'm chairing. I'm the chair of the Rocky Mountain Tribal Leaders Council, and we I just noticed yours where you're at, and so we represent 11 different tribes in Idaho, Wyoming, and all the Montana tribes.
Sure.
And they elected me as chairman.
Well, congratulations on that front as well. So yeah, we're at the top floor of the DoubleTree Hotel in downtown Billings. That's where our studio's at. And I just saw his email. I was like, hey, I'm actually in the DoubleTree right now. So I'll have to. I don't know if I can come down and interrupt the meeting, but I'd love to shake your hand and congratulate you on both accounts if I can.
Oh, that'd be super. All right, can come up and do the same.
Come on up. We got some good coffee ready for you too if you need a refill.
Right. You got it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, we like to be on top of the breaking news around here. So yeah, sometimes we just schedule things and didn't even think. Now, do you live in Great Falls? Is that where you're based out of?
No, I'm actually based here in Billings.
Oh, okay.
My brother and I have a business here, an advertising company that we've been running for the last 19 years.
Wow. Well, that's great. Well, congratulations to you and all the members of the Little Shell Tribe. An honor to talk with you, Chairman Gray. Again, thanks for joining us this morning.
Oh, no, thank you. It's greatly appreciated.